Start recording. All right, good morning. This is Tuesday morning yoga. And if you're joining us a little later, welcome. You can start your practice by getting comfortable on your mat so you can lay down on your back. You might prefer to have your feet planted on the mat, knees up, and then relax your knees in towards each other. The further out your feet go, the more your knees can relax in toward each other. Or if you prefer, you could stretch out long on your mat. Just being mindful that your lower back, maybe just lift your hips just a fraction of an inch off the floor and then settle them back down so your lower back feels really comfortable. And once you come onto your mat, you can relax your face. You let your gaze become soft, or maybe even close your eyes. Take a few really big, deep breaths. Hold it and then sigh it out. Do that 2 or 3 times. As you exhale, you can feel your body relaxing, getting softer, releasing tension. As you're laying here, I want you to just turn your attention inward. Imagine yourself in this space on your mat. It's a small space, but it's a space entirely for you, and it's a safe space. And you have brought yourself here into this safe place to find comfort and to find ease in your body and to do good things for yourself. So just thank yourself for making it to yoga this morning. You're doing good things. You might want to turn your attention to how your body's feeling this morning. Just check in. We'll start at the toes. Just notice how the toes feel. Wiggle them a little. And then moving up to the feet. Maybe flex and point. Flex and point. You might want to turn your ankles, little circles. And then up the legs, you might want to slightly bend the knee and straighten it out. Just small motion. You can get into the hips, just lightly rock or wiggle your hips a little bit on the mat. Notice the movement of your belly and your rib cage as you breathe. Try and make it nice and loose and fluid. Checking in with the shoulders, make sure you push them down away from your ears. Arms are long and relaxed. You can take some little circles with your wrists. And maybe make a tight fist and then release your fingers. And again, make a tight fist and release. You can wiggle your fingers a little and let go of that energy. And coming up the neck, maybe just swallow, releasing the neck muscles. You could open and close your jaw a few times. Just releasing and separating the biting surfaces of your teeth. Your brow is smooth and relaxed. No expression on your face, no effort. You might even feel the warmth on the crown of your head. Just noticing how every part of you feels. Taking inventory of where you feel good and energetic and loose, and maybe other areas where you're hanging on to a little bit of tension. Maybe you're just a little tender. And then you can finally turn your attention to your breath. And start that nice, steady, Ujjayi breath that carries you through your practice. So inhale through the nose, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. You can find your own rhythm that works really well for you. It might be slightly faster or slower than what I've cued, but just find a steady rhythm. Inhaling in and out through the nose. Once you've found your rhythm, you can begin to take some small motion. You might want to reach your arms up overhead, maybe stretch long, or bring the arms out wide. You could stretch the legs out as well and sort of make yourself into a starfish shape. And then you can also come the other way and just curl up into a tight little ball. So bring your knees up toward your chest, hugging those knees in, giving yourself a little hug, maybe rolling on the back slightly. And when you're feeling ready, you can release. Gently roll over onto your right side and bring yourself up to sit on your mat. So once you come up to sit on your mat, take your time getting there. There's no rush. I'm going to have a little glass of water here. So you have two choices. You could come to a comfortable cross-legged position, or if that's not how you're feeling today, you could just sit with your legs relaxed in front of you, whatever works better for you. So imagine that you're sitting up really tall, right from your tailbone. Imagine there's a string at the top of your head and somebody's pulling it up and you're sitting up so nice and tall. And then we'll duck the chin down to the chest. Inhale, head comes back to center, and then tilt it up. Might just tilt it slightly, or maybe you have a little bit more mobility. Come back through center, chin comes down to chest. Inhale, back up through center, and looking up. Bring your head to center. Lower the chin down, and this time we'll start taking circles with the head and neck, whichever direction you prefer. Nice and slow, being mindful that necks are delicate. Maybe there's a place you just want to pause and work it out a little bit. And when you're feeling good on that side, you can reverse the motion. Go in the opposite direction. Again, just checking in with any spots that feel a little sticky. And bring your head back to center. We're going to shrug our shoulders up towards our ears, push them back down and away. Inhale, bring the shoulders front, bring them up to the ears, and push them back down and away. If one of your shoulders is bothering you, you can just try and isolate on one side. So shoulders up and down and away. We'll take our right hand, walk it out to the side. Left arm comes up and over in a big arc, getting long through the left side of the body. Nice deep breaths. Enjoying the feeling of opening the rib cage. If you wanted to go further, you could even walk your hand out a little further and come on to the right forearm, but it's not necessary. Just find a space that works for you. And on your next exhale, slowly come up. This time we'll bring the left hand down, walk it out to the side. Right arm arcs up and over, stretch long through the right side of your body. Keep the right fingers energetic. You don't have to be completely straining, but just keep them energetic. Nice deep breaths, opening that rib cage. One more breath. And you can come up to center again. We'll take the left hand, bring it to the right knee. Right hand will plant on the mat directly behind you. Inhale, think about getting tall. Exhale, twist to the right. Use your left hand on your right knee to help you into that twist. Try not to lead with your head and neck. Let your head and neck remain very relaxed. Imagine the twist is coming right from your tailbone. With each exhale, see if you can relax into the twist a little bit more. Don't force it, just melt into it. And on your exhale, come back through center. This time, right hand to left knee. Left hand plants directly behind your tailbone. Again, inhale, think about getting tall. Exhale, twist towards the left. Twisting right from the base of the spine. Try not to lead with the head or neck. Just let them remain loose. Exhale and relax into that twist. And on an exhale, come back to center. We'll bring our hands in front of us. You can, if your legs are extended in front of you, you can bring your hands to either side of your legs. So we'll bring our hands in front of us and walk forward. If your legs are crossed, just make a note of which one is in front right now. Just walk forward and bow your head. You don't have to come all the way down, but you're just doing a little bow here, getting into the hips, getting into the lower back. Just a gentle stretch. Keep that breath nice and deep. And exhale, slowly come back up. If your legs are crossed, you can cross them the other way, or if they're out front, you can just leave them as they are. So again, inhaling to get tall, hands come to the front. Gently walk the hands forward and down. Notice how your hips and lower back feel here. If you're getting sensation, try and breathe right into it. One more breath. And come back up to sit. Whether your legs are crossed or in front, you're going to bring your feet in front of you, planted in front of you. Your hands are at this side. You're gonna rock back, sit back onto that tailbone. Almost like you were about to lay down, but you're not gonna lay down. And then lift your feet so your shins are parallel to the ground. You can either point your toes or flex them, toes peeling back toward you, coming into boat pose. Really engage the abdomen. Feel your chest coming forward. Try and lift your hands up. You could leave your fingertips down, but give it a shot. Try and lift your hands up. Arms are coming forward. Fingers are energetic. Engage the abdomen. Do that work. Boat pose is tough. So good for the core though. One more breath. Exhale, release your feet down and bring your hands around your shins. Inhale, you can pull your belly forward. Chest is going to come forward and you look up slightly. So we're doing the seated equivalent of cat and cow. On your exhale, round your back. Really let it round, round, round. Duck your head down. Inhale, pull the belly forward, chest forward, head comes up. Exhale, relax the back, make it round. Chin comes down to the chest. One more. Inhale, pull the belly forward, look up. Exhale, round the spine, duck your head down. And coming back up to sit, you can bring your knees around and come into a tabletop position. We'll continue with cat and cow here. So your hands are directly under your shoulders. Your knees are directly under your hips. Your abdomen is engaged, so you have a nice flat back. On an inhale, drop your belly, raise your hips, begin to look up. Exhale, reverse the motion. So your head is going to drop down, round up between the shoulder blades, drop the hips for cat. Inhale, come through to cow. So drop the belly, hips and head come up. Exhale, moving into cat, round the upper spine, lower the hips and head. Take 3 more rounds of cat and cow with your own breath. If you like, you could even add in a little bit of wiggling in the hips. Can make it a very funky cow cat. Just listen to what your spine wants to do. And when you come to the end of your third cat and cow, just come back to that nice neutral tabletop position. Walk your hands forward in front of you. Lower your chest towards the ground. Wendy, if this is bothering the shoulder, you can just pull the one arm back and open your heart toward the ground. So whether you have both arms extended forward or just one, just try and open your chest a little bit. Fill it with breath, let it really expand. And come back up to your table. We're going to rotate our hands outward so that our fingers are pointing back toward our body. So rotate each hand outward, plant them on the mat, and then gently sink your hips back toward your heels. You're going to feel a stretch in the lower arm, through the wrist, carpal tunnel area. This can be a very slight motion. Breathe into it. And then you can come back up, rotate your hands the right way around again. This time, turn the toes under. Again, take your hips back over your heels. Your feet, your toes are curled under and your feet should be feeling quite flexed here. You can stay here if this is feeling good. If you want to go a little deeper into the stretch, you can back your hands up. Maybe you can even bring them up on your thighs and come upright. Wherever you are, keep that breath steady. And you can bring your hands back down to the mat. We're going to come up onto our feet, so yogi's choice here. You could curl your toes under and push up and back for downward facing dog. Or if you prefer, you could just come up in a way that works for you onto your feet. So I'm going to quickly come through downward facing dog. I'm just going to hold it for one breath. My knees are really bent. And then I'm going to walk my feet up. No matter where I am, I'm going to come up to stand at the front of my mat. So we'll all meet up here. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Leave a gentle bend in the knees. Folding forward, bring the fingertips down to the mat. You could cradle your arms one in the other if you like. We're gonna, leaving that gentle bend in the knees, we're gonna sway around a little bit in ragdoll. Feeling the hamstrings awakening. You might even add a little bit of bounce to your ragdoll here. A little bit of a dynamic stretch. And you can bring your fingertips back down to the mat. Take your left fingertips and plant them directly below your face. So you're looking straight down at your left hand. It is in front of and halfway between your feet. You're going to inhale the right hand up, twist your body. See if you can look to the right, maybe even directly up toward the ceiling. So we're coming into a twist here. Exhale, you can bring the right hand down. Place that hand directly underneath your gaze, so it's in the middle this time. Inhale, the left arm is going to come up. Twist your torso toward the left. See if you might even look up toward the ceiling. And come back towards center again. Hanging out there for just a second. Again, bring the left hand in front of your face. This time we're really going to bend the left knee significantly. The right hand is going to come up, stretch up toward the ceiling, and the right leg straightens out a little bit. And you might feel some sensation through your leg there, maybe even into the hip. Exhale, you can bring the right hand down, place it in the middle. So we're going to really bend the right leg. Take the left leg straighter. Inhale the left arm up. Look up toward the ceiling. Again, you might feel a nice big stretch through the left leg, maybe even up into the hip. And exhale. You can bring your hands back down to the mat. Bring the hands onto the shins. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. With an inhale, slowly, slowly, slowly roll all the way up to stand. I'm going to fix my very annoying ponytail. So standing at the top of your mat, feet are a narrow hip width apart. Abdomen is engaged. Shoulders are broad. Hands are relaxing by your side. Nice, strong mountain pose. Inhale, arms up overhead. Good, look up toward your fingertips. Exhale, forward fold. Swan dive all the way down to the toes. Hands can come to the shins. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Hands come down to the mat. Step your feet to the back of the mat like you're about to do push-ups and lower those knees. So you've got a diagonal line straight from your knees up to your shoulders. Your abdomen is really engaged here. Take a big inhale. On your exhale, see if you can lower your torso down as slowly as possible. Maybe squeeze your elbows in a little bit to help. Lowering down nice and slow. And when you come down, you can plant your forehead on the mat. Take a breath. Inhale, raise the head, neck, and chest for cobra. No weight in the hands. You could even hover your hands up. Exhale, lower the head down again. Inhale, head, neck, chest come up for cobra. Exhale, release, head comes down. We're going to do one last cobra. Inhale, head comes up, holding. You probably feeling the lift coming straight from your lower back. Exhale, head comes down. You can bend at the knees, windshield wiper your legs back and forth just to release that lower back work. And then let your legs go long again. Push up onto your hands and knees. Bring your knees fairly far apart on your mat. Bring your toes to touch. Hips come back onto your heels. We're coming into a wide-legged child's pose here. So your head can just relax down. You can have your forehead on the mat. Hands could be out, stretched out in front of you, or if your shoulder's bothering you, you could have your arms in closer to your body. No matter where you are, we're going to come back up to stand on the mat. So you could come up through table, or if you like, you could turn your toes under, come into downward facing dog for a breath. And then exhale, walk your feet to the top of the mat. Come up to stand. Again, check that the feet are narrow hip width apart, standing up nice and straight. Inhale, the arms come up overhead. Exhale, part your arms, part your hands slightly. I want you to sit down as if you're sitting into an imaginary chair. Try and tuck your tailbone under and sit down. This is chair. Some good work here. Breathe deep. If that's bothering your shoulders at all, you could bring your arms onto your shoulders. Feel the warmth building in those thighs. Breathe into it. One more big breath. Exhale, forward fold, leaving a gentle bend in the knees. Taking a big breath. Sigh it out. Again, just sigh it out. And then slowly roll up to stand. Again, we're going to inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, part the hands. Again, sit back down in the imaginary chair, scooping the tailbone under. Hands can come to shoulders if that feels better. Try and sit a little lower with each exhale. One more big breath. And exhale, forward fold. Just hanging out in this forward fold for a second. And Slowly coming back up to stand. We're going to come into lizard pose. If you have a block and you'd like to use your block, you could bring it over toward you now. So we're going to stand up nice and straight again. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Fingertips come down to the mat. We're going to step the right foot, giant step, all the way to the back of the mat. Make sure your feet are on 2 separate tracks. You can come down onto your right knee. Before you do that, if you want extra padding, you could fold your mat over so you have a little extra padding under your knee. Relax the right foot. The left foot is moving out ahead of the left knee. So you have quite a bit of distance between your 2 feet. Roll up, come up to stand your torso over your hip. You can place your hands on your left thigh. Inhale, think about getting tall. Exhale, bend the left knee, sink the hips forward and down. If you have to move your left foot a little further forward to come into the full stretch, you can go ahead and do that. You can leave your hands on your thigh, or you could bring your hands down onto a block that's right by your left instep. Make sure that block is on the inside of the left leg, not the outside. Getting really deep into the hips here. Big sensation. See if you can just stay there. Breathe into it. On your next exhale, back your hips up slightly. Just coming halfway out of this lizard stretch. And then take an inhale and bring your hips forward and down again, coming back down into the full expression of the pose. See if you can sink those hips a little further down. On your next exhale, gently lift your hip up and back. As we move our hips back, we're going to straighten the left leg, peel the toes up toward your body. Again, you can bring your block back by your body for this as well. Come up to stand over your hips. Your hands can come onto your hip. Think about getting tall. Exhale, come forward. Your hands can come down onto your left thigh. Maybe even walk them forward. If you like, you could bring your hands down to the block or straddling either side of your left leg. Make sure those toes are really peeling back. See if you have a little more room. Maybe you can just bow down a little bit further. And on your next exhale, slowly come up. Relax the left leg. Draw it back beside your right. And just put your block off to the side for a moment. Bring your knees together. And again, we're going to come into a child's pose, but this time it's our knees are going to be closed. So again, coming down in a child's pose, hips are on the heels, head can lower down to the mat. Arms could be extended in front of you or back by your body, or you could even bring your hands back by your feet. So you're coming into this very little compact shape. Just take a moment to slow your breath down. Notice how it's feeling. Smooth it out. And then slowly Roll back up. We're going to come into the other side. So we'll come onto our hands and knees. Bring the right foot forward, quite ahead of the right knee. Make sure you have your block ready by your right instep. Roll up to stand over your hips and the left leg. If you think your feet aren't far enough apart, you could wiggle that right foot forward. Make sure your knee and your foot are on two separate tracks. Inhale to get tall. Exhale, you can bring the hand onto the right thigh. Sink the hips forward and down. If that's feeling good, you want to come a little further into it. You bring your hands down on the inside of your right leg, maybe coming down onto the block or even down to the mat. Find your breath. Find stillness. Come halfway out by backing your hips up, and then bring the hips forward and down again, and come back into the pose. See if you can sink a little deeper. On your next exhale, back your hips up. You can walk your hands back up your thigh, coming up to stand over your hip. And straighten the left leg, or sorry, the right leg out. Straighten the right leg. Peel those right toes back toward you. And then gently walk your hand down your thigh. Maybe the inside hand comes back down to the block. Your hands can be straddling your leg. You're bowing forward over that right leg. Toes are active. Feeling the stretch through the back of the leg, maybe even the lower back. On your next exhale, relax the right leg. Pull the right foot back by the left foot. You can bring your hips back. Set your block off to the side. This time I want you to really make space between your knees. Hips are back on your heels. Coming back into a child's pose. This is a very wide-legged version. Forehead can come down to the mat. Hands could be stretched out in front of you, or back by your shoulders, or even behind you. Again, noticing how your breath is flowing, seeing if you can smooth it out a little. One more breath. From child's pose, I want you to become like a snake and slither forward onto your belly. So stretching out the length of your mat, coming onto your belly. Your hands can rest underneath your shoulders. Your head, your forehead comes down to the mat. We're going to inhale the head, neck, and chest up like we would for Cobra. Exhale, everything else can come up. So arms can come up and back. Lift the legs. Toes can be pointed or flexed, your choice. But everyone is lifting right from that lower back. Keep breathing. On your next exhale, bring your hands together and you can rest them onto your forehead. So your forehead can come down on your hands. Bend your knees, feet come upwards, gently windshield wiper the legs back and forth. Just releasing the lower back. We'll set up for another round of locusts. So legs are long on the mat, forehead down on the mat. Your hands can come back by your hips. Inhale, head, chest comes up. Exhale, everything else. Arms and legs come up, lifting from the lower back. Big breath. One more breath. Exhale, hands can come onto the forehead. Bring the forehead down, bend at the knees, windshield wiper the legs, back and forth. You can stretch your legs out again, hands under your shoulders, push up onto your knees. Again, yogi's choice. You could just get up from here to come to stand, or you could quickly go through downward facing dog. Walk your feet toward your hands and come out to stand on your mat. We're going to come into a balancing pose. So if you know that you would like the assistance of a piece of furniture or a wall, you can go there now. Once you're in your preferred spot, you can again check your stance. Feet are narrow hip width apart. Abdomen is engaged. Chest is broad. Hands can come to your hips. We'll start by standing on the right leg. So transfer your weight over your right foot. Come on to the left toes. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale it out to the side, and then you can decide where to plant the foot. Could be on the shin, could be on the ankle. You could leave a toe down. Whatever you choose, try and find your balance. Hands can come to heart center. Really engage the abdomen, squeeze your bum in. Maybe you can grow your tree here. On your next exhale, hands can come back to heart center, then to the hips. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale it down slowly with control. Good. You can shake out the standing leg. Get the blood flow going again. Again, set yourself up in a nice mountain pose. Then transfer the weight over onto the left foot, coming onto the right toes. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale it to the side. Again, finding the right place. Shin, ankle, or toes down. You can bring your hands to heart center. Squeezing the abdominal muscles and the bum muscles, everything's squeezing in. Grow your tree tall. And hands can come back to heart center. And then down to the hips. Inhale the right leg up. And exhale it down slowly and with control. Shake out that standing leg. Get the blood going again. We'll prepare to come down into squat. So feet are slightly wider than hip width. And your toes are pointed out on a 45-degree angle. As always, the abdomen is engaged, shoulders are down. You can bring your hands to heart center. Inhale to begin. Exhale, begin to sink down. See how slowly you can sink your hips down. If you come to a point where you can't come down anymore, you can bring yourself down onto your bum and come into this position from seated. Otherwise, keep lowering your hips down, all the way down. Once you come down, either find yourself into this pose with your bum on the mat, or if you're still on your feet, maybe just wiggle around a little bit. And then you can bring your upper arms to the insides of your knees, whether you're seated or on your feet. Bring the hands to heart center. Use the arms to encourage the hips outward. I'm going to stay here for a few breaths. So you can center on your breath. Maybe even close your eyes. Two more breaths. When you've released your second exhale, if you're still on your feet, gently bring yourself down onto your bottom. And if you're already on your bottom, stay there. Bring your knees closer together and bring your hands down slightly behind you and just rock your knees back and forth a few times. Letting go of all that work in the hips. Feet come flat on the mat again. You're going to get tall. Bring your belly onto your thighs. Arms can wrap underneath your thighs and your head can bow forward. Just a nice restorative forward fold. If you're enjoying this, stay exactly as you are. If you'd like a little bit more sensation, you could straighten your legs out, peeling the toes back toward you. Walk your hands down towards your feet, coming into a deeper expression of forward fold. But it's not necessary. And slowly come back up. We will bring our feet together. So the soles of your feet come together. Your knees are bent and you're making a large diamond shape with your legs in front of you. Your hands can rest on your knees. Inhale to get tall. Exhale, your hands can come down toward your ankles and your body is going to bow forward. You can come forward a little bit, or maybe you have quite a lot of range. Maybe you can come forward quite a bit. Wherever you are, find the sensation in your hips. Allow yourself to breathe into that sensation. On your next exhale, you come back up to sit. You bring your legs back upright. If you're sideways on your mat like I am, come onto the length of your mat again. So hands are going to come onto your legs. Knees are bent, feet are planted. Inhaling. As you exhale, I want you to lower down onto your back as slowly as you think you can. Engage your core. At a certain point, release the knees, lowering back slowly, slowly, slowly. Coming all the way down onto your back, making sure you're centered on your mat and you're nice and comfortable. And cross your right leg over your left. So your right ankle is across your left knee. Your right toes are peeling back toward your right knee. Looks like you've made a figure 4 with your legs. You could place your hand on the inside of your right knee and encourage that right knee outward. If that's feeling good, you could hug your left thigh in. And again, keep pushing that right knee outward. The right toes are actively peeling back. The left foot can just relax. One more breath. Exhale. Release the left leg if you were holding on to it. And plant both feet on the mat. Gently windshield wiper the knees back and forth a few times. And then we'll set up for the other side. So right knee is bent, right foot is planted. Left leg crosses over the right knee at the ankle. Left toes are peeling back. Your left knee is pushing outward. You could use your hand to help encourage that left knee outward. If that's feeling good, just stay right there. If you want to take on a little bit more, hug your right thigh in toward you. Take a hold behind of that right thigh. Remember to keep the left foot active. Toes are peeling back. Left knee is pushing forward. The right foot can totally relax. It has nothing to do. One more breath. Again, if you've taken a hold of your right thigh, you can let go. Lower the right foot down or just uncross your left leg. And again, gently windshield wiper the legs back and forth. Bring your knees back upright. Your arms are going to come out into a T beside you. If you have someone beside you, maybe negotiate the space. So arms are straight out into a T. Gently shuffle your hips ever so slightly to the right. Cross the right leg over the left leg with no gap between your thighs. On your next exhale, gently lower your legs over to the left. Make sure your both shoulder blades are firmly planted on the mat. If you'd like to come a little deeper into the twist, you could bring your left hand onto your right knee and encourage that right knee down. Or you could turn your head to look over your right shoulder. Not necessary, but just an option. On your next inhale, bring your legs back upright. Uncross them. Bring your hips back to center. Again, arms are out in a T. This time the left leg crosses over the right with no gap between the thighs. Shuffle your hips ever so slightly over to the left. And on an exhale, lower your knees over to the right. Keep both shoulders firmly on the mat. If this is feeling good, you could bring your right hand to your left knee. Just encourage that knee down. Maybe go ahead and look over your left shoulder. Wherever you are, come back to center. So your head can come up, knees come back up, uncross the legs. You're going to prepare to come into Shavasana. So if you know there's a pose that you would like to take, maybe a big stretch, or maybe you want to hug your knees in. Perhaps you want to come into happy baby, bringing your hands around the outside of your instep, rolling around a little on the lower back. Whatever you need to do to finish your practice, go ahead and take that now. When you're feeling complete, you can stretch out on your mat, or if you like, you could place your feet back down again. You have your feet wide apart and then let your knees rest against each other in a restorative pose. If you need a blanket, you could grab that. Maybe you'd like to just lift your hips a little bit, settle them back down on the mat. You've finished your practice. There's no more effort that you have to put into this. Just allow yourself to fall into a state of relaxation, absorbing the benefits of your practice. Take a few more of those nice big breaths. Inhale, hold it for a moment. Exhale, sigh it out. Take a few of those. As you sigh, imagine excess energy leaving, taking with it any tension and effort. Quickly check in with your body. Notice how it's feeling. Maybe doing a quick scan, wiggling the toes, pointing and flexing the feet, circling the ankle, bend and flex the knee slightly, gently rock the hips, settle your spine into the mat, push the shoulder blades down away from your ears. Arms are relaxed. You could be by your side or maybe across your belly, holding in some heat. Turn the wrists, wiggling the fingers, clearing the throat, opening and closing your mouth, letting your face become relaxed and expressionless. Sorry for the loud cat. Allow yourself to just find yourself lost in the moment. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. So allow yourself to be present. I'll let you know when it's time to wake up. I will leave you with two options. If you're comfortable and happy exactly as you are, and you wish to continue resting, just stay on your mat, stay lying down. If you would prefer to begin moving again, take some small movements, maybe a little wiggling, a little stretch, whatever feels right in your body. And perhaps you bring yourself up to sit rather, on your mat, or perhaps you're just going to stay in Shavasana, your choice. I'll leave you with a little quote from Winston Churchill. Success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. Thank you for joining me for practice today. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.